God does not make mistakes, He does not place one sun skin above another, one soul above another. To hate a man for his color is to deny the hand of the Creator Himself.
They said my hands were too dark to bring light into this world. They said no white mother should trust a black woman to deliver her child. But when the sun rose over Magnolia County and a baby's cry pierced the morning air, those same hands, my hands, became the only ones that could save a life. I was just a black woman in the 1960s South, yet in my arms, I held life itself. And if I failed, someone's child would never take their first breath. If you believe every life deserves dignity, no matter the color of the hands that catch it, hit that like button, subscribe, and lean in close. Because what I'm about to tell you is not just my story, it's the story of every black woman who ever dared to defy a system built to silence her. I was Sarah Mayfield, 30 years old, daughter of a sharecropper who had died too young, and granddaughter of a woman who had been born into chains. I was neither doctor nor nurse, because in those days, no colored girl from Magnolia County was ever allowed near medical school. But what I had was knowledge. Passed down from grandmother to mother to me, herbs, hot water, steady hands, and the ability to hear the rhythms of a woman's body the way a preacher hears God's word. By the time I was 25, black mothers whispered my name like a prayer. Call Sarah. She will come. She will stay. She will not let us die. But the county was cruel. In the white hospital on Main Street, black women were treated as experiments, ignored in their pain, left to labor alone. Too many funerals followed, too many infants buried before they saw the sun. I remember one night in 1962, cold, rain pouring like the heavens were angry. A white doctor refused to drive out to a black family's cabin. Let her come to the hospital, he sneered, or let her die. She would have died. I saddled my husband's mule and rode 6 miles through mud and thunder. When I arrived, the mother was bleeding, pale, gasping for life. Her husband begged me with eyes wide as rivers. I pressed my palms to her belly. I prayed. I worked for hours in that candle-lit room, sweat rolling down my back, whispering, "Hold on, sister, hold on." And when dawn broke, a baby cried. A mother smiled weakly. And I knew, once again, God had used these unworthy hands to do His perfect work. Word spread. To black families, I was hope. To white families, I was a scandal. They letting a colored woman play doctor, they spat on the porch of Magnolia's general store. But slowly, even some white women began whispering my name. Because racism don't stop labor pains. One night, a young white woman, barely 18, arrived at my door. Her belly heavy, her eyes swollen with fear. Her own father, a respected farmer, had refused to call the doctor. She made her bed, let her lie in it, he had told her, ashamed of her out-of-wedlock pregnancy. She begged me, "Please, Miss Sarah. Please don't let me die." I did not hesitate. I delivered her son on a straw mattress, wrapped him in my own quilt, and when that boy cried, she cried with him. But when her father learned I had been the one, oh, Magnolia County shook. He came to my porch at dawn with 2 white men, rifles slung, eyes burning like devils. "Stay out of white business, woman. Or next time, you'll pay." I stood there trembling, but behind me, that young white girl held her baby tight. And she whispered just loud enough for her father to hear. If Miss Sarah hadn't come, I'd be dead. And so would your grandson. The rifles lowered. The men walked away. But from that day on, I knew every life I saved would put a target on my back. As I sit here now, an old woman, telling you these stories, I realize something. Every cry, every birth, every injustice I faced was not just about one child, one mother. It was about proving a Sarah the county never wanted to hear. Black hands are holy too. Black hands can heal. Black hands can deliver the future. And yet, what happened next, no one in Magnolia County could have predicted. Because one night, in 1965, I delivered a child whose birth would ignite a battle that nearly destroyed me, but also built my greatest legacy. I remember that first summer in Magnolia County like it was painted in fire and ash. Every porch whispered, every rocking chair creaked with suspicion. Folks didn't say much to my face, but I could feel their stares cutting through me like a knife. I wasn't a stranger in these parts. I was the one who had caught their babies, wrapped their firstborns, prayed over their sick when no doctor would come through those muddy back roads. But even after years of serving, the same question always floated in the air: how can a black woman bring life into white homes? One morning, I was at the well, drawing water with my apron already damp with the sweat of summer. A young white woman, Clara May, stood a few feet away with her bucket. She was heavy with child, close to her time, and her face was pale as morning milk. She tried to speak but hesitated. Finally, she blurted out, "Miss Sarah, I want you there when my time comes." "But my husband, he says no. He says he won't have a colored woman touching his child." Her voice cracked, and she gripped the rope so tight her knuckles turned white. I looked at her swollen belly, and then at her eyes, full of both fear and hope. "Baby," I said softly, "when the time comes, your body won't care about color. It'll care about hands steady enough to bring life safe into this world." She looked down, ashamed, and I knew she was torn between her husband's hate and her own trust in me. But whispers travel faster than Sarah in a town like Magnolia. Folks started saying I put spells in my remedies, that I cursed the babies of white families, that I wasn't a midwife but some kind of conjure woman. Deacon Harlan, a big man with a red face that always looked half drunk on anger, cornered me outside the church one Sunday. He spat at the ground near my shoes and sneered.
"You best keep your hands off God's children. Ain't no place for your kind mixing bloodlines here."
I didn't answer. I just looked him dead in the eye until he flinched away. But my silence only fed their fear. Then came that night. A storm was rolling in, sky growling with thunder. Just as I was settling down, I heard frantic banging on my door. It was Clara May's younger brother, soaked to the bone, shouting, "Miss Sarah!" Clara's screaming something awful, "Baby's coming fast. Doc won't ride out in this storm, please, you're the only one she trusts." Without a word, I grabbed my satchel, herbs, clean cloth, and the tools I had carried for 20 years, and followed him into the rain. Inside their farmhouse, the air was thick with sweat, fear, and the sharp smell of kerosene lamps. Clara lay writhing on the bed, her husband pacing like a caged wolf. When he saw me, his face twisted. "What's she doing here?" he roared. Clara, through clenched teeth, screamed back, "If she leaves, I die. Do you hear me, John? I'll die without her." That silenced him. Hours passed. The storm outside rattled windows while inside, new life struggled to break through pain. I prayed under my breath with each push, each scream. And finally, a baby's cry split the air. But when I lifted that baby into the lantern light, every eye in that room froze. The child's skin was darker than expected, soft brown, not pale. The room turned to stone. Clara sobbed into her pillow, while John's face turned from shock to rage. His jaw clenched, and his fists curled like thunder about to strike. I held the baby close, my voice calm though my heart raced. Life is life. This child is innocent, and he deserves to breathe free. But I could see it in John's eyes. That baby was proof of something he couldn't bear, the Sarah Clara had hidden, the Sarah Magnolia County would twist into scandal. Later, when the house quieted, John pulled me aside, his face inches from mine. His breath stank of whiskey and hate. "You keep your mouth shut, woman," he hissed. "This child ain't nothing but sin walking. If word gets out, it won't just be her ruined, it'll be you hanging from a tree." I didn't flinch. I met his eyes steady. "I bring life, not shame. That's between you and the Lord." But deep inside, I knew this secret was a seed planted in the dark, and one day, it would grow wild and dangerous. That night, as I walked home in the rain, the baby's cries still echoed in my ears. I knew Magnolia County would never be the same. A secret child, born between worlds, carried in the arms of a midwife they already feared. And I, whether I wanted or not, was now part of a storm bigger than any thunder that rolled across that southern sky. Word in Magnolia County spreads faster than fire in a dry field. It didn't matter that the storm raged that night. Didn't matter that no one but me, Clara, her husband, and her brother were in that room. By sunrise, half the county was whispering. They didn't say it plain, but I heard it in their voices. "Did you hear about Clara's baby? Doesn't quite look like John's spittin' image." Somebody said Sarah had her hands all over it. Maybe she worked some conjure into that child. The Sarah was dangerous, and lies were just as deadly. When I walked into town that week, carrying herbs to a woman with fever, the air turned heavy. People didn't meet my eyes. Some crossed the street. A group of young men leaning by the barber shop chuckled low as I passed, one muttering loud enough, "Midwife got herself a little too close to the wrong kind of father, huh?" Their laughter cut sharper than knives, but I kept walking. I'd learned long ago you don't feed the fire by throwing back sparks. A few days later, Clara herself came to my cabin, the baby swaddled tight against her chest. Her face was pale, her eyes ringed dark from sleepless nights. "Miss Sarah," she whispered, rocking gently. "They're saying things. John won't touch the baby. He won't even look at him. I don't know what to do." I reached out, brushing the baby's tiny hand with my finger. His skin was warm, his eyes wide open, innocent as the morning. "You love him," I told her softly. "That's what you do. You hold him against the storm. Babies don't choose the sins or the secrets of their parents. He only knows your heartbeat, your warmth." She cried then, clutching the child so hard I thought she'd never let go. But I also knew the Sarah. A mother's love might not be enough to shield him from John's hate or this county's poison. The following Sunday, Pastor Whitfield stood tall behind the pulpit, his booming voice filling the white, clapboard church.
"God made order in this world. And those who step outside that order bring nothing but ruin upon themselves and their children."
Heads nodded. Amens echoed. And though he never spoke names, everyone knew who he meant. Every eye flicked between Clara's pew and mine. My blood boiled, but I stayed silent. In Magnolia County, a black woman arguing with a preacher was like striking a match in a room full of kerosene. Later that week, as I gathered herbs from my garden, I heard heavy boots crunching down my path. It was John. His face was red, his eyes glassy with rage.
"You did this. You brought shame into my house. People are laughing at me, and you carry on like you're innocent.
He grabbed my arm so hard it bruised, but I stood firm, staring right into him. I brought life into this world, I said, steady as stone. What you choose to do with it, that's your sin, not mine. He shoved me back, snarling.
Keep your mouth shut, Sarah. If you don't, it won't be just whispers you'll hear. It'll be the sound of a rope creaking in the trees.
For a moment, the world went quiet. The cicadas, the birds, even the wind seemed to pause. His words weren't just a threat. They were a promise of what men like him had done before and could do again. From then on, the county split itself like wood under an axe. Some white women still called for me when their time came, whispering so their husbands wouldn't know. Please, Miss Sarah, don't let me die, they begged. And I always went. Life didn't wait for permission. But others slammed their doors in my face, saying they'd rather bleed out alone than let the colored midwife cross their threshold. Even the black community grew fearful. Some warned me to stop, to let it be. Don't get caught in white folks' secrets, old Miss Lottie told me one evening. They'll pin it all on you when the fire gets hot. But how could I? A baby's cry was a calling louder than fear. Clara's baby, whom she named Samuel, grew thinner by the week. His father refused to provide milk or medicine, saying the boy wasn't his responsibility. One night, Clara slipped into my cabin again, her face streaked with tears, Samuel weak and wheezing in her arms. Please, she begged. If I don't feed him, he'll die. I took that child into my arms, felt his frail breath against my chest, and I knew this boy was more than a secret. He was a symbol of love, of betrayal, of everything Magnolia wanted to bury. And I made a vow in that moment. Samuel will not die, not while I have strength in my hands. But even as I swore it, I felt the eyes of Magnolia County pressing on me, the weight of their judgment. Every step I took, every life I touched, I knew the danger was growing. Because in a place built on silence and lies, the Sarah of one baby's skin could burn the whole town to the ground. Night in Magnolia County used to bring me peace. The crickets sang steady, the cicadas hummed, and I could sit on my porch with a cup of tea, letting the day's burdens slide off my shoulders. But after John's threat, the nights felt different. The silence was heavier, the shadows longer. I started keeping a lamp burning through till dawn, as if the light could ward off the darkness. And then one night it happened. I woke to the sharp crackle of wood. My cabin walls glowed orange and smoke clawed at my throat. Someone had set fire to my home. I stumbled outside, coughing, my heart pounding. Through the smoke, I caught the figures of 3 men running into the trees. One of them looked back long enough for me to see the glint of a grin. The flames roared higher. My herbs, my linens, the birthing tools I'd saved for years, all of it turned to ash in minutes. Neighbors gathered at a distance, watching. Some crossed their arms, whispering. A few cried out half-hearted warnings, but didn't move to help. Only old Miss Lottie rushed forward with a bucket, her frail hands shaking. Together we tried, but it was useless. By morning, nothing was left but char and ruin. The next day, Sheriff Boone rode up on his horse, slow as honey. He looked down at the smoldering ruins, then at me.
Shame about your place. Reckon you lit a lamp too close to the curtains?
He drawled. I stared at him, my jaw tight. You know it wasn't no accident. He tipped his hat, eyes cold.
Best not stir trouble, Sarah. Folks already whisperin' plenty. Wouldn't want them whispers turning into shouts.
And just like that, he turned his horse and rode off, leaving me standing in the ashes of my life. That evening, Clara returned with Samuel. She looked worse than before, her cheeks sunken, her dress torn where John had grabbed her. "He's getting sicker," she sobbed, holding Samuel out to me. His breath rattled, shallow and thin. I had nothing left, no herbs, no warm bed, no supplies, but I cradled him against my chest anyway. "You'll live, child," I whispered into his ear. "If it costs me everything, you'll live." Clara fell to her knees. "Miss Sarah, John's talking about sending him away. Says he won't raise no black baby in his house. He keeps saying he'll fix this shame once and for all." The way she said it, I knew. John wasn't just talking about leaving Samuel. He was talking about ending him. 2 nights later, the attack came. I was walking back from Miss Lottie's when I heard rustling behind me. 3 shadows slipped out from the trees, circling me. I recognized them, men who drank at John's table. "Well, look here," one sneered. "The witch woman herself." Another stepped closer, rope dangling in his hands.
Heard you've been keeping that baby alive. Maybe it's time somebody stopped you.
My heart thudded, but I stood tall. "You lay one hand on me, and you'll have more than God to answer to." They laughed, cruel and sharp. The one with the rope lunged. But before he could reach me, a shotgun roared. The men froze. Out of the shadows stepped Clara's brother, Thomas, his face hard as stone.
"Touch her, and I'll drop every last one of you,"
he growled. For a moment, the world held its breath. Then the men spat curses and slunk back into the trees. Thomas lowered the gun, his hand shaking.
"They'll be back, Sarah. This ain't over."
That night, as I held Samuel close, I realized the Sarah. Magnolia County wasn't going to let him live. Not as he was. Not as a child who bore the Sarah in his skin. If I stayed silent, if I let fear guide me, they would crush him. But if I fought, I risked not just my life, but everyone tied to me. I looked into Samuel's wide eyes, saw the spark of life that refused to go out, and I knew my choice. "I will not let them take you," I whispered. "Not you, not this Sarah." The whispers had become fire. The fire had become threats. And now the noose itself dangled close. But Magnolia County had underestimated me. I wasn't just a midwife. I was a witness. I was a protector. And I was ready to fight. Years slipped by, but the hatred in Magnolia County did not die easily. Sarah endured whispers, cruel stares, and even threats scratched onto her door. Yet she carried on, delivering babies, nursing the sick, standing firm in her calling. But one night, the hatred turned violent. A stone was hurled through her window, shattering glass across her kitchen table. A scrawled note tied to it read, "This town don't need your kind." Her hands trembled as she held that note, but her spirit did not break. She whispered a prayer into the night. "Lord, let my hands never learn hate, only healing." The baby she had once cradled now toddled at her feet, growing stronger each day. He was no longer just a child. He was living proof of Sarah's defiance, a reminder that love could grow even in poisoned soil. But Magnolia was watching, and Magnolia did not forgive. At a town gathering, one of the sheriffs spat the words aloud.
"That boy should have never been saved. That woman is a disgrace to this county."
The words spread like wildfire. Farmers turned cold. Neighbors stopped calling. Even some she had delivered into this world would not meet her eyes. Yet Sarah, weary though she was, did not bow. She pressed on, holding the baby close to her chest at night, humming lullabies his own mother never lived to sing. In her heart she vowed, "If I must stand alone, I will, but this child will not." Time has a way of testing resolve and rewarding faith. The baby grew under Sarah's care, his laughter echoing through her small home like a hymn against despair. He grew into a young man with bright eyes and a heart that burned with the same fire Sarah carried. Against every barrier Magnolia placed in his path, he pushed harder. He read by candlelight when books were denied. He worked fields by day and studied by night. And then one day, Magnolia awoke to something it had never seen before. That boy, the child they said should never have lived, walked through the county square wearing a white coat. He had become the first black doctor Magnolia County had ever known. He healed the very people who once turned their backs on him. He delivered babies of women whose grandfathers had spat at Sarah's feet. And he built his practice in the shadow of the same courthouse where men once plotted to drive him out. Years later, when people spoke of Magnolia's past, they struggled to remember the names of sheriffs, of judges, of men who had sworn their power was eternal. But one name remained, spoken with reverence by every child who grew strong in her care: Sarah, the midwife who saw no color in the face of an innocent child, the woman who risked her life so another might live, the soul who proved that love outlives hate. And as the doctor laid flowers on her grave, he whispered the words Magnolia could never erase.
Because of you, I am. Because of you, love survived.
Magnolia tried to bury love beneath hate, but love has roots deeper than any grave. Sarah's courage gave this world a healer. Her sacrifice became a seed, and that seed grew into hope. Tell me, what do you believe lasts longer? Power built on fear, or love built on sacrifice? If Sarah's story touched your heart, smash that like button. Share this video with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Justice Griot, where stories of Black life, struggle, and triumph live forever.
I was told my love was wrong, that a child like him did not belong. Whispers burned, but I held him near. Through the shame, through the fear, God does not make mistakes. He does not place one skin above another, one soul above another. To hate a man for his color is to deny the hand of the Creator himself. We are one, we are his breath. We rise in love beyond life and harsh. Nights were long, but in his laughter I grew strong. The world looked down, but I could see he was the light God placed in me. Yeah. God does not make mistakes. does not make mistakes. He does not place one skin above another, one soul above another. To hate a man for his color is to deny the hand of the Creator himself. We are one, we are his breath. We rise in love beyond life creator. One design, your heart is his and mine. No color, no chain, no hate can sever. We are his children forever.